So here we are in June of 2026, and today's video is my what I'm writing with for this month. Bit of a focus on Pilot pens this month, with a few of my favorites there, and just a good general range of writing pens. Please like and subscribe and consider becoming a member of this channel, where for a small monthly fee, you'll get early access to my videos, priority comments, and eventually some members only Q&As, hopefully starting up in July or August. But right now, let's look in this pen case and see what I'm writing with for this month. Okay, so we might as well just get straight stuck in, starting with the three sort of EDC pocket fountain pens that I'm carrying at the moment. I'm sort of alternating between these at the moment. We've got the Pilot E95 S here, which is a beautiful, beautiful pen. I have that with a fine nib, and that's inked with Yamabudo from Pilot Roshizuku. I have the Kaweco Brass Sport here, once again, with a fine nib, but it's a slightly broader, finer. Well, I've never actually put them next to each other, so we'll see when I do the writing. And that's inked with Diamine Ancient Copper. And then I've got my Wingback stainless steel fountain pen, which is an extraordinary little pen, really, with a sort of a medium steel nib on it, and that's got Diamine Oxford Blue in it. So these are the first three. Let's just start with the Wingback. So we'll start by writing currently inked for June 2026. And we start with the Wingback fountain pen. So this is made in stainless steel. If you're interested in Wingback products, you can use the link in my video description to get a little discount and throw some support in the way of my channel. This is a medium nib, and the ink in this is Diamine Oxford Blue. Now, I've had this pen for coming up on a year, and it has been constantly inked with this ink, and this ink only, more or less. I love this ink, and I love this ink in this pen. Next, the Kaweco Brass Sport. Stay tuned for a video about this pen on my channel this month. Actually, looking at it on the page, it's not that much broader than the E95S, which is about to come. And this is another Diamine. You're always going to get a lot of Diamines in my currently inked. I just think they're brilliant inks. They're affordable, they're widely available, they're safe, they're reliable, great colors. What's more to like? And then the E95S. Oh, it's a little broader. As you would expect from a Japanese to a German fine nib. I think this is probably the ink I put in this pen more than any. I love the E95S. It is such a wonderful pen. Great size, great form and function, amazing nib. And I may have another one coming, or a very similar pen coming. I have an Elite already, which is sort of like a slightly smaller version of the E95S. So stay tuned for more. Next is a pen that's currently getting prepared for review. It is this PenBBS. This is the 556, I think it is, from memory. And it's a really interesting pen. I'm not a huge PenBBS fan. And so I'm enjoying, spending a little time with this one to try and, find the love, if you will. This is a fine nib, and the ink in this is Diamine. Surprise, surprise. Monaco Red. Interesting pen. They're not my favorite. They've not been my favorite over years. just the nibs don't feel great on the page. I like the designs. I like, particularly in this one, the filling mechanism. It's a great improvement. Yeah, not my favorite pens. But, you know, we'll wait for the review to get my full feelings on it. Next is a classic, the Lamy 2000 fountain pen. Like an EDC pen, like everyday carry, everyday writer pen, if ever there was one. Not everyone's favorite, but a favorite of mine. Lamy 2000. This has the extra fine nib on it. If you've been following my channel a while, you know I started out by having a medium nib on this one. But I have this black one, I have the green from a couple of years ago, the pine green, and I've got 2 stainless steels, and across those I have extra fine, medium, and broad, and I decided to move the extra fine into this because I just love how it writes. And the ink in this is a Lamy ink. Lamy Petrol. So there's a few pens in my collection, only a handful of pens that have like a dedicated ink that I just associate with that pen. And for me, in the last few years, Lamy Petrol has become really associated with my Lamy 2000. I think it works great in this pen. It looks amazing on the page. It's a beautiful ink. This is the recent edition, the 2025-20 version of Petrol. And it's great. Absolutely great. Next is a pen that I am primarily at the moment using for a little bit of sketching. It is the Pilot Kakuno. You can see I have it inked with just a black Pilot cartridge in there. This is the extra fine nib, which I think is probably one of my favorite varieties of steel nib, the Pilot extra fine that comes on the Kakuno. I think it is super fine, precise, quite smooth, wet enough, all those kinds of things. But just that extra fine just writes so well. I really, really enjoy it. And that has, as I said, Pilot Black. Like, there's nothing fancy about this nib, but if you're sketching and you're like, the way I tend to sketch is I like to do super fine detail first. I like to build it all in, and then I go in and add thicker lines and shading and stuff like that. And so I've been doing a lot of the actual sketching with this, and then filling in the gaps and the shading and things with pens like the Tom Studio Lumos, which has, I've got on one of those, I've got 2 different tips on that. I've got the 0.3 and the 0.8 sort of fine writer tip, which allow for a bit more expression. But this, for being precise and clean on the page, I think, I say to people, I think that the Kakuno with the extra fine nib is an absolutely underrated pen. At its price point, it's hard to beat. Okay, next is a new pen in my collection, one that I'm really genuinely excited about. It's not going to get a review for a little while yet, but it is this. This is the Santini Nonagon in the pearl or perla finish. This pen is remarkable. It's got a 14 karat gold nib on it, and I have it with the Architect grind. I am genuinely obsessed with this pen. So we have the Santini Nonagon Perla with an Architect grind, and the ink in this is Dominant Industries. The Moon. As obsessed as I am with this pen, I am obsessed with this ink. You can see how wet like that pen's writing, and the nice shape that the Architect gives my handwriting as a left-handed writer. And that ink, the shading on it, the little, you know, sort of dusty blue, not blue-black, but like grey, dusty teal, just stunning. Stay tuned for reviews of both that pen and that ink. The ink this month, I think. The pen a little while down the line. Next, another pen that I really, really love and I finding to be one of the best nib on page experiences in my collection. It is this, the Ashira Aeon. I reviewed this last month, and On the page, I don't know. I should say this is the olive wood version. And nice medium nib. Surprisingly, only the second medium out of the first, 8 pens that I've shown. This is another one that I'm finding, I think it will be dedicated to a particular ink, and that ink is Pilot Urushi Shinryoku. A very, very good friend of mine got me this ink last Christmas, and I love the ink. And in this pen, just remarkable. The balance of this pen, the extra weight down in the fingers just allows it to be so comfortable. It's titanium furniture, wooden pen, 18 karat gold, or 14 karat gold nib, sorry. And you can see that line is beautiful. It's wet, it's smooth, it's generous. It does everything you would want it to do, and it does it with a unique style. But the writing experience, the pen on page experience, just beautiful. Another pen with a great nib on page experience is this. This is the Aurora Optima. And the review of this one is coming, I think, next month, from memory. Simple, fine nib, great pen, perfect in the hand, great size in the hand, especially when posted, just absolutely lovely. I think I'm running low on ink in this. Yeah. Almost time for a fill. Give me 1 minute. I write with this pen a heck of a lot. And so I'm not surprised that the ink runs low. I don't love the ink window on this pen. It's not particularly clear. But yes, Aurora Black is my ink in that. First time I've done a filling on a currently inked. So should that be called a currently re-inked? But this is dedicated to this ink. I have filled it now a couple of times. So this is now, well, 3 now, the Aurora Black in the Aurora Optima. Now we get to Pilot Land, and this is where things become sentimental and gooey and lovely for me. I have 4, as well as the Pilot Kukuno and the Pilot E95S here. I have 4 of my favorite pilots inked up. We'll start with this one, the Custom Urushi. This is the big boy. This is the big daddy of them all. Amazing pen. The nib on this pen is unique. The body I don't find to be the most comfortable. I find it just to be it's just a little big for me to enjoy. But with the medium nib here, this is so special. It's got a Pilot ink in it from Pilot Eroshizuku, and this is Suyoro. It was a toss-up between this and Kujaku, but I haven't used Suyoro in a long time, so I really wanted to give that a go in this beautiful pen. You know, it's a pen that doesn't leave the house. It's a pen that stays here at my desk, or one of my desks, and I use for, like, you know, sort of more purposeful writing, some journaling, things like that. But it is just a remarkable, remarkable pen. And now its younger brother, the Pilot Custom 845 Urushi. So we have here the Pilot, I can't spell, but Pilot Custom 845 Urushi with the fine nib. And in this one we have a wearing all, The Great Gatsby. I'm a fan of this ink, but I don't love it. Like I only bought a sample, and I probably won't get a bottle of this particular one. It's got a nice color on the page, but it's nothing that's, you know, unique necessarily. I think there are some wearing all inks that are just absolutely incredible. But this one's okay. It's good. But in this pen, it's really nice because this pen isn't super wet. It's wet enough, but not super wet. So it does show off the ink color nicely, shows off some shading, but not so dark that you don't get to see the actual color. But yes, the 845. It's really funny, whenever I talk about my Pilot pens, people always say, oh, you should try the 845 or the 845 or the custom Urushi. And I'm like, I have those pens. I've spoken about those pens. And so it's always interesting when, you know, you surprise people that you have certain pens in your collection. And I think a lot of people are surprised because I talk about this pen so much, which is the Custom 823. And there's a reason we all talk about this pen. Let's be honest. It's so special. Like the nib on page experience is so unique with this pen. I have it with a Broad, and I'm considering potentially getting a second in the Fine. Because I think a fine of this pen would make a wonderful everyday carry. If the pen writes sort of as fine as the 845 here, which seems to be sort of the trend, like there is a balance there between the fine, medium, now to the Broad. Yeah, I think it would be a great everyday writer. I've used the fines, but I can't remember just how fine it is. When I bought the Broad, I tried the fine, medium, and Broad, and chose the Broad because it wrote like the medium nibs on the Yovo medium nibs that I really loved and do love. I like this line width here. It's almost my perfect line width for most writing, but for everyday writing, something finer would be really nice. This is another pen that at the moment is dedicated to a particular ink. I don't know if it will stay this way, but at the moment it just feels right in this pen, and that is Rosewood from the 160th anniversary Diamine set. It's a little bit it's a slightly drier ink, but you get beautiful shading. And because this nib has like, I'm not going to say spring, but it's like just a little bit of like suspension or bounce, you do get some of that nice like shading potential there. So lovely ink, amazing pen. And then the last pen inked up at the moment, no surprises to most people, is this, the Pilot Sterling or the Pilot Sylvan, depending on where you are in the world and how it's promoted. But this pen is so awesome. Pilot, I call it the Sterling. It says a medium nib, but it's quite a broad medium nib, which I like a lot, particularly for Pilot. This is a pen I bought myself in Japan. If you watched any of those videos, you'll see, you know, sort of the backstory, if you will. And there's a Pilot ink in this as well. And the ink that I have dedicated to this pen is Shinkai. Just awesome. Like a beautiful ink, a really lovely shading ink, and the way it dries from that lighter blue to that sort of more dusty, almost blue-black, so special. So that is the 13 pens I have inked up at the moment. So we have the beautiful wingback fountain pen, the Kaweco brass board, and the E95S as sort of everyday carries. We've got the PenBBS 556 there up for review. Lamy 2000 is like a nice sort of everyday writer. The Kakuno for sketching. Then I've got the Santini Nonagon with that beautiful gold architect nib, which it's just a joy to write with in any format. The Ashira Aeon, another great journaling sort of pen. The Aurora Optima, a really great everyday writer that needed a little bit of a refill there as I went, and that'll write beautifully for the next couple of weeks until I run it dry again. Then we've got some beautiful Pilot pens, the custom Urushi in medium, the 845 in fine, the 823 in broad, and then the Sterling once again in medium. A sensational lineup of pens for this month. And I'm really interested to see what lasts out the month and what is changed up for next month. So thank you for watching today's video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button, and please consider becoming a member of this channel. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, your writing, and I'll talk to you soon.